Hi, I'm Toni Preckwinkle, Chair of the Cook County Democratic Party. I'd like to welcome you to the 80, our podcast about the party, its candidates, and its leaders. We're beginning the podcast by interviewing our elected Democratic committee people to discuss their backgrounds and thoughts about the history and future of the Democratic Party. Today, I'm excited to welcome Senator Mattie Hunter, who is with us in her role as committee person of the 20th Ward. Now, right. I am very grateful to you for taking time to be with us today, Senator. Tell us a little bit about how you got in politics. You've been in the state legislature for quite some time.
Yes, thank you, President Preckwinkle, for having me. Yes, I've been in the legislature as a state senator for 17. Actually, I can officially say 18 years because next month it'll be 18 years.
All right, how about that? That's a long tenure.
Yes. It's a long tenure, yes, but I enjoy every bit of it.
Did you serve in the state house before you went to the Senate, or how did you come to your?
I did not. I went directly into the Senate. I preceded Senator Margaret Smith, who resigned due to illness, and I was appointed to that position, and I've been serving ever since.
Now, Margaret Smith was an iconic figure on the south side of Chicago. Actually, the widow of another senator, right? Senator Fred Smith, is that right?
Fred Smith, that's correct.
Okay.
And you know what? Fred served in the House for a short period of time, and then he served in the Senate. And so then he passed away, and another rep, I can't think of his name, but I know who he is, represented Fred's seat in the Senate. And then Margaret Smith ran against him the next term, and she beat him.
And won.
And she won. And so Margaret served in the Senate for 23 years. Fred served for 28 years. And so when I went into the Senate, I had some huge shoes to fill.
Between them, they served more than 50 years in the body.
Absolutely, they sure did. And believe me, they passed some wonderful ground-shaking legislation that their names are still on there now, while they were there.
So tell me what you're most proud of in your Senate career.
Well, I've transformed a great deal of health and human services in the state of Illinois.
That's been your focus.
My focus has primarily been health and human services issue. We've been dealing with a lot of health disparity issues, issues dealing with women, issues dealing with children. I passed the first Juneteenth Day bill in Illinois, recognizing Juneteenth as a holiday, the third Saturday, couldn't get the day of the week, third Saturday in June. I passed the bill focusing on creating a commission to study the transatlantic slave trade. I've done some obesity bills. I mean, I've been doing all kinds of stuff over the years. Yes.
But I know that you're proudest of your work in sort of health and human services.
Absolutely, yes.
Now, after doing all that good work and continuing to do that good work in Springfield, you decided you wanted to be a leader in the Democratic Party. What prompted you to go in that direction as well?
Well, I've lived here in the 20th Ward for about 24 years, 25 years. And so we've had some transitions going on within the committeeman position as well as the alderman position, some issues. And I was not happy. The constituents in the ward were not happy. They wanted stability. They wanted leadership, and I was asked 4 years prior to that to run. And I did not want to run against a sitting incumbent, an incumbent. I just did not want to do that because of respect. Since I am an elected official already, I wouldn't want, a colleague to run against me. And so it was just out of respect. But then I saw that not a whole lot was being done. The judges were complaining. The constituents were complaining. they were asking, well, who to vote for, and just so forth and so on. And so some friends of mine who lived in the ward approached me and asked if I would run. And I said, well, if I decide to run, what role will you play? Are you just going to sit back on the sideline and let me carry the whole weight? Or are you going to roll up your sleeves and work with me? And so they said, well, I'm here for you. I have some friends here for you. We'll help you raise the money that's needed. And the rest is history. And here I am.
So in response to concerns that you had personally and your constituents presented to you, you decided you would be a candidate.
Yes, ma'am, I did. We did.
The 20th Ward has had some challenges in terms of its elected officials and their being enmeshed in the criminal justice system. So
Right.
I know that has reflected badly on the 20th Ward, and we're grateful that you were willing to kind of step up and change the direction. Give us an idea of what you think the Democratic Party ought to be doing here in Cook County and nationally.
Well, we're going to have to start paying more attention to what our constituents are saying. The complaints, we need to talk to them to find out what they suggest, what are their recommendations, how do they see things? Because, I found out since being an elected official as a state senator, every day we are so close to the issues, that sometimes you can't see the perimeters, And so oftentimes I try to talk to the constituents to find out if they see the same thing that I see, and if they feel the same way that I feel. And most of the time they do not feel and see the same things that I see and feel. So therefore you talk to them. Sometimes in the restaurants, you go into the bars, go into the hair salons, the barber shops, up and down the street, and you just have to talk, knock on the doors. You have to talk to people to find out what are they saying, and you have to listen to them. And I think the same thing needs to happen nationally. We do have national elected officials here, and we talk to them as well. But I think the national party, as well as the local Democratic Party, probably need to have some focus groups, or some kind of maybe ward by ward or regional. Ward by ward is a lot of it's time consuming, but I think in the long run it pays. It works out well in the long run. And if you can't do it ward by ward, then or township by township, because the suburban areas are included in the county piece, perhaps have some regional meetings just to hear from the people. If everyone cannot speak, but you can fill out a card and put your suggestions and recommendations in a box or pass it on to someone to turn it in, and let's hear from the people to see what they have to say. I'm from the old school of politics. I came out of the Ralph Metcalf days. That's how I really got involved in politics, And I got
Tell
involved
us that story. Tell us that story.
I got involved with politics because I was growing up in Robert Taylor Homes. My parents lived there, and they were raising 8 of us. And then in the summertime, my father and mother, they had stepchildren. So altogether, 13 children was in a 3-bedroom apartment, but we had a ball coming up as children. And so I was very active in the community, and I had some problems, and some of my friends had problems with CHA, not having enough activities for the youth in the community, not a whole lot to do. Although we played softball, but in the wintertime, there wasn't hardly anything to do. There was no place to go. It was too cold to go outside after school, So we got together, started protesting CHA and complaining, and Metcalf came to a meeting, and I was real bold, and I went up to him and I said, Alderman Metcalf, and he was running for Congress at that time, because that was in 1970. I'm 15 years old. And I was just as bold as I can be. And he said, young lady, who are you? And where is your mother and father? And I said, well, my father is at work and my mother is at home cooking dinner. He said, well, I want to meet your parents. honey, he put me in his car and drove me home and to meet my parents. And I walked in by that time, my father had gotten home from work because he worked a 7 to 3 shift. And so he saw that Metcalf was behind me and he said, uh-oh. Because, back then when the young people acted out in the community, the adults would bring them home, and when an adult bring you home, then you're in trouble, and so Metcalf said, oh, no, it's not like that. I said, thank you. And so he said, no, I wanted to meet your parents, Mattie's parents, because she was very, she was participating in my meeting. She had a lot of questions. She sat in the front row like she was in charge, and I was still wearing my pigtails and I had my gym shoes on and my blue jeans, And so ever since then, Metcalf and I became friends. Throughout college, he mentored me. I even became a paid congressional intern in 75 in his DC office for a semester. Okay.
That's wonderful.
So Metcalf was, he was like my second father. We were very, very close.
So this is a great story. So you got involved in politics, connecting with Ralph Metcalf as alderman of the Third Ward, and then of course as congressman.
Right.
5 years after that first encounter, you ended up in Washington as a paid intern.
Right. And I was asked to join his staff in DC after I graduated from Monmouth College in Monmouth, Illinois.
Right.
But my parents were having a fit. They said, girl, that's too far for you and you're too young to be moving to Washington, DC. I said, oh, mama, I'm having a fit and everything. So I wound up staying in Chicago and working. And next thing you know, I was in grad school down in Mississippi, down in Jackson State University. And the rest is history. I got down there and started getting involved in politics. And the school was getting ready to run me out off the campus, And so I was, I was something else coming up.
You're an activist.
I was an activist big time, just like the young people, the Black Lives Matter and all of them protests. Well, I've done all of that stuff, and folks look at me and says, well, come and join us. You're not doing nothing. I said, you have no idea what I've done in the past, and you have no idea what I'm doing now. You have no idea. And so, I do believe that if you want to make a change in the community, you got to roll up your sleeves and get involved. You can't sit on the sideline and complain all the time. That's the problem with people today. They complain to one another too much, and no one has any kind of suggestions or recommendations to offer. And so we just need to hear from people. So that's what I've been doing.
What you're encouraging is civic engagement, that people should engage their elected
officials. We
We
must. And yes, ma'am. And we have to encourage our younger people, even in 7th and 8th grade, 6th grade, getting involved civically. That's what I did. I got involved civically so that by the time I turned 18, I was ready to vote. I knew somewhat about the legislative process because I did spend a lot of time with the local, state, and national elected officials. And so I was one of those different people who started really, really early in life in terms of politics and in government. I wind up, after I graduated from college, I wind up working for the city of Chicago. So I am a retiree from the city of Chicago. And now I'm in the state General Assembly. I'm in the General Assembly now. So
there you go. Well, that's definitely a career to be proud of. So your suggestion to the party would be to try to engage our Democratic voters across the county,
yes,
either in a ward by ward or maybe region by region basis, to kind of hear what they're thinking and what their concerns are.
I'm thinking so, and I'd like to see us reach down and figure out how to engage our 5th, 6th, 7th graders. You sit there and talk to young people that young, they have some great ideas. Not only dealing with how they feel, how the community should be, but some of these kids are so smart, technology, science. These kids are winning all kinds of science fairs. I'm in and out the schools a lot. Sometimes I am a judge at at science exhibits and science fairs, and these kids are just, they're brilliant. They really are brilliant. You know, it's just that we focus on too much of the negative end of the kids, the violence, although we must focus on that as well, but we need to pay a little bit more attention towards our young people who are actually out here trying to do something. We need to find them, engage them, and get them involved.
Well, it's surely true that the mainstream media focuses on the negative in terms of our young people.
Exactly.
And we have to
Exactly.
be careful not to fall in that trap ourselves. Well, listen,
Yes.
we're very grateful that you were able to join us today. Are there anything you want to leave us with as we kind of close out our interview here?
Well, I'd like to thank the people of the 20th Ward for putting their trust in me, electing me as committeeman of the 20th Ward. I'd like to especially thank the people for coming out to vote during the primary, and then they increased their numbers in November, and the 20th Ward is getting back on track. I remember when Cecil Partee was the committeeman, he was the alderman, then the committeeman. And when he was a state senator, he continued as committeeman. And I remember when the ward was just such a great, fabulous, one of the top wards, actually one of the top Black wards in the city of Chicago. And my goal is to bring this ward back to where it used to be. You know, get the people involved, come out to vote, get involved in community activities. And so that, you know, those are some of my goals. And so I just need the people to be patient, give me some time to get around, because I'm juggling a lot of balls. It's an unpaid position, but I don't care. I'm just here for the people. So just work with me. That's all I can say. But thank you very much for the opportunity to serve.
Well, thank you, Senator Hunter. We're very grateful that you could join us, and we're grateful for your service in Springfield for
Thank you.
2 decades, huh? And,
Oh my God, it makes me feel old.
although you're new to your position as committee person, you're surely not new to public life. So we're
No, I'm not.
very grateful to you.
Thank you
Thank you
very
for
much.
joining us.
Thank you, Madam President.